All right. Welcome to the AOSA Apprentice Academy cohort office hours. And we're so glad you're here. Um, and in case you haven't been on one of our meetings before or you don't know what we look like, this is us. I'm Lindsay. I am a movement TE and I am the chairperson of this committee. And I'll let everyone else introduce themselves. I will say Allison is not able to be with us today as she has a sick daughter at home right now. So I'll let everyone else introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Amy Fenton. I am one of the recorder TEs. I just rolled off of the committee, and now I'm on AAC to help you get ready for with your applications.
Hi, I'm Lauren Summy, and I'm a basic TE.
I'm Angela Lenhart, and I am also a basic TE, and I've also just rolled off the apprenticeship basic, what is it called? Too many letters.
TEAP, TEAP,
TEEP. TEEP, there it is.
Teacher Education Application Panel.
Teacher Education Apprentice Panel.
Oh, you're right. Not application, apprentice.
And I'm Judy Thompson Berthwell, and I'm with Movement as well.
Yes, and so that's us in our faces in case you didn't know. And we also would like to oop, congratulate you.
So
Yay!
excited.
Congratulations, everybody. This is Lauren, and I am looking. Oh my gosh, Carissa made a thing fly up the screen. It was really cool. I'm so excited. We want to hear from you what you did whenever you found out, or how you felt, or who you told. So I'm just looking for one or two people to share and say something out loud, or you can type a little thing in the chat, like, I was making dinner when I got the email and I burned the beans. I don't know, whatever happened to you. So, if you want to do something, you can make something cool fly across the screen. I don't know. Just let us know if anybody wants to share. And we're not scary, so feel free.
Um, I'll share because no one else is. Um, I have a group chat with other ORF people, and so I shared it with them.
Yay.
Yay!
It's funny, like, those are the people who actually understand what it means. And I remember telling, like, my family, oh my gosh, I got onto phase two. And they're like, okay, like, kind of cool. So that's nice to share with ORF people. I heard people typing, so we can read in the text. But if anybody else wants to share, we just want to be sure we celebrate you before we get into the scary rubric and stuff. So check out the chat to read people's celebrations.
I was going to say mine was like just, I didn't want to open the email. I saw it pop up and I was like taking like 15 breaths. I was just like closing my eyes. I was like, whatever happens, happens. I'm okay either way. And then I saw the first word I saw was congratulations. I don't think I read the rest of it. And then, of course, texted everybody, called everybody. But the really cool thing was my administration was so excited for me. Like my principal was so excited. She put like a little blurb on our social media. She made like took a picture of me. She's like, we have to get a picture right now, and posted it all over social media. And so she's very super supportive school staff. And so yeah, it's been a whirlwind for sure.
That's awesome.
Anyone
All right. Thanks,
else?
Lindsay.
Yeah, all right. Congratulations again, you guys. We know how much work goes into it and also how vulnerable it is to put yourself out there. So, congratulations. And then now let's get to the nitty-gritty. As you know, your deadline for your lesson plan and video submissions are due January 31st, which feels like tomorrow. But you still have a few days left to get that in. And we kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we as the AAC can provide to you. We are willing to read your lesson plans and your reflections. I know from my experience in getting feedback on my application, the reflection portion is very, very important. And so if you would like for us to read through those or kind of check them, check them out. We are willing to do that. We're also willing to answer questions about the rubric. If you're like, hey, I don't really know what this means, or you know, how do I show this in the video or whatever, you can reach out to us. And of course, as always, we are here to be your cheerleaders for the process and encourage you when that imposter syndrome takes over. We do ask, though, that the cutoff date for any type of reading and giving you feedback be January 23rd. And we also ask kindly that you don't expect a response within 24 hours. They give us a couple days, depending on how everyone's schedule is. But therefore, you could also send it to multiple committee members, to see which one can get back to you the fastest. But just depends on kind of what's going on in our lives at the time. So, with that being said, I'm going to stop sharing. And oh, yes, Amy, go ahead.
Judy's had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We met a little bit beforehand and I was there late, but I would like to ask in the things that we can be helpful with, it says read lesson plans and reflections. Does that also include AAC giving feedback for those lesson plans? Because I think that would be a question that everybody would have. So I think we should make that clear.
Right. Yeah. I think that yes, we could read through them, offer feedback about maybe something that doesn't seem I guess as straightforward, or give us a little more detail here, or dive more into this part. So um, just giving it to someone with fresh eyes, be like for example, I can talk through folk dance steps, but like, oh, what did you mean by this step? Can you explain that a little bit more type thing, as far as lesson plans go. So
Thank you.
then now, yeah, we are here to open the board, to ask or let you guys ask us any questions, and kind of go from there. If it begins to be like super specific questions, we can always go into breakout groups based on which I don't even know what we call it, group you're supposed to be in. And
Area.
so what is does anyone have any questions that are like broad for everybody, or would y'all prefer breakout groups? Okay.
I have a question maybe just to start things off.
Yeah.
I'm Amy in North Dakota. We does it have to be original material? Do you get what I'm saying? I'm thinking like I've only got a few weeks to do this and I'm like, well, I'm gonna video this lesson I've already been planning to teach the way that I would teach it, or does it have to be something that I have invented?
I
I'm
think they're
gonna,
looking for your teaching process and
Okay,
they're looking how you go through the process. As long as you're citing your sources,
right.
I think you're fine because their objective is the process.
Okay. Because I reached out to someone to ask permission to use something, and they told me they're like, you might want to consider using original material because they look for that. So,
I don't know
I,
what they
I
look
don't
for
know if
because
this
I've never been on the committee.
I don't know if this
maybe
helps,
maybe
but
that used to be that way. I don't know.
To the original material thing, it depends on who's on the panel, and you don't know who's going to be on the panel. Or maybe you can find out on the who's been assigned, whatever. But their training and their experiences have an influence. At the same time, you want to demonstrate that you know the ORF process. So just, make sure you've just got your T's crossed and your I's dotted kind of thing.
Okay.
And teach like you teach.
That's kind of what I was like, I just want to show them how I teach, and that's, I guess, yeah. Okay. That helps.
I also think that yes, in phase one, when you're writing pieces, that's when they need to be original.
Okay. And maybe she didn't know that's true.
And not everyone's served on the actual panel either, so they
Okay.
may not know all of the ins and outs.
Okay.
When you say original piece, you're talking basic and recorder? Amy?
Oh, I'm
Me?
sorry. Well, but which Amy?
In Basic and Recorder, they have to turn in, like in Recorder, they have to turn in an orchestrated piece with a recorded part. So something that it can be a folk song, but it's something that they've orchestrated.
Yep.
And then a 4 or a 3-part speech piece. So,
Yep. Okay. I have a lot of questions, so don't let me monopolize the conversation. I wrote these questions down a while ago. Can it be, so it's in the rubric it mentions a focus on improvisation. And I reached out to Karen a week ago or so, and she kind of helped me with this, but I'm curious what some other thoughts are. Can it be improvisation in movement? Does the objective of the lesson have to be improvisation, or can you use it as a tool to reach a different objective?
One of my videos, my video with students was movement improvisation.
Okay.
And I would second that it doesn't have to be, I mean, it could be movement. It doesn't have to be the objective of your lesson. You're looking for, can you integrate that in your lesson? Are you utilizing that as part of your process?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was incorrect. My video had movement and unpitched percussion improv, so they were together.
Okay.
All right. Well, I've finally set up the breakout rooms. I'm actually very proud of myself because I've never done this before. So I'm going to open all the rooms and then I should be able to pop into the movement one once I make sure everyone's where they're supposed to be. So hopefully this pushes you to the room. If not, come back out and I can put you back in. So see you guys and maybe we can wrap it up around, I don't know, what do you say? What about like half an hour and depending, and we'll kind of go from there? Okay, great. Here we go.
John. Oh,
Yay, I made it.
hey.
Oh no, I'm missing a Sarah though. Where did Sarah go?
Sarah,
Oh,
what is your last name?
There's two Sarahs. Where's Sarah?
Was it? No, not that one.
It says she's in here, but she's not in. Oh, there she is. Okay, sorry. Whew, I was like, I'm missing a Sarah. Okay, sorry. I was calling you out. I was like, Sarah.
oh, am I here? Can everybody see and hear me?
I can just hear you. I can't see you, but
Oh, that's
You
weird.
Sarah Johns?
Okay, hold on.
Mhm.
Sarah Johns and Sarah, how do you say your last name again?
Terrace.
Tiras, no H.
Terrace.
Silent H. All right, any questions?
I feel like I have a lot of questions more about the rubric, I guess, if it's okay if I just jump out there. Um, okay. When we, if we're breaking up our video into multiple sections that we're meshing together, does it matter how many breakups we do? Or is it better to have like 5 minutes, 5 minute chunks or something like that?
See, this is new, I think, because when I did it just 2 years ago, you could not break it up. So, Judy, you'd probably be able to answer that better than I can because you were just on the TEEP committee. I think they added it last year, but I could be wrong. But
Wasn't last year, it was a couple years ago, and that question did come up, and it literally was because of COVID. Because we had a person who had started their videotaping to show a process over time, and then their school was closed.
Hmm.
And therefore, that person needed to do things online and show both. And so they had to do segments, so to speak. And so it became okay, I guess. I'm not sure that's the only reason, but the other thought that came up is if you are showing a process there's only so much of the process in particular things that you can only, you can do in one classroom. Because generally speaking, if you're introducing something, you're not going to spend the whole 40 minutes on introducing that one idea. So you want to do it over time. So taking the same grade level does not necessarily have to be the same class that is doing this over time, but you can show the process of how you got to whatever you're ending with. And then the reflection, I think, is really, really important because you may not necessarily get to performance level. Who wants to do that? But the whole idea of just teaching. And then timing it so that it makes sense. So there's some editing that needs to go in. And I suggest that you just focus on a certain lesson and a certain grade and kind of cut.
Yeah, because I already videoed before the break. I videoed all of my third grade classes doing the same lesson. But I haven't started editing, but I was just wondering, like, I don't know, where do you, I don't even know where to begin,
So
but not like, blip, 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 like that's not good. We don't want that. We want like segments, probably, right?
and I want to make sure that the segments are about you teaching
Right. Okay.
what the kids have done.
Okay. Right.
It's your response to the kids and how you relate to things and a kind of a step-by-step-ish, or we did this, we got here, now the next thing is this, maybe it's a different class period, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Over a period of time, if necessary. Now, I will say, some people have turned in a 20-minute lesson on one thing, and the camera just goes on, so you see the beginning, the middle, and where they culminated within that one lesson. And sometimes for movement, that might be a better choice. I'm going to just say that than it is to try to do a little here and a little there. I think that's more basic. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because when the kids are
Yeah.
in movement and in the moment and all the things that you've gotten going, that's when they shine because you've let them there. Picking it up a little bit at a time means you got to start all over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, because
I think.
I was debating like, okay, which class did my warm up the best? Like, or which lesson went the best as for the warm up? Like, which lesson went the best for the middle part? And I did it over the course of two classes too. So, and then the culmination at the end, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking of doing, but it might be easier just to show us straight through.
Yeah, so sometimes it's like, are you trying to get to a place over time, or are you just showing, here's what we did in this lesson?
Mhm. Yeah, I think the advice that I was given was pretty much like do your lesson and then possibly cut to the end, which is going to be like your, not necessarily the product of the kids, but your teacher talk with the kids at the end, because it is about you and not about them. It's it's also like if they're creating in small groups, they're going to watch you go to each group and push each group to do, like what kind of feedback are you giving them and things like that. Um, because for mine, I don't know. I don't remember. I guess maybe it was, I don't even know how long ago it was, but I was not they didn't let me cut until you had one place you could cut. And so that's that's a little different now, but
So what I want, they tweak it every year, so it changes. And the basics are there, but their little tweaking goes on every year. So you do have to read the rubric carefully.
mhm.
Can I ask something else? I'm not trying to monopolize. Um, on the rubric talking about the history, culture of the dance, authentic resources, cultural component, understanding of the resource. Um, but then we're taking this dance and we're sharing the historical context, but then we also need to do something that shows like a creative kind of aspect, like where they could take it creatively or like um so I'm that's I mean that's on the rubric too and showing so I want to make sure that I'm not that we're doing how do you do both of those? I don't know.
Okay, so here's what we're looking at. I was on the panel in the past. What we're looking at is not directive teaching of a folk dance. Not that you can't do it and that you could do it and that it is sometimes necessary, but how do you lead kids through a creative process into a folk dance? So it could be in the beginning where you have them explore certain movements that you're going to include in the dance, just like you would do with music. You explore this one thing, this little passage, and then you include it in the music. Or it could be something, now that you've got all these different ideas, how can we do this in a different place? I get both sides.
Yeah, I think, and that's the reason for the two separate videos too, is like one's more of a folk dance and one is more of a creative movement video. And so yeah, like Judy said, making sure part of your warm up is going to enhance how they perform a folk dance. Like if you're doing to smidgey and you have practice walking different with different facings, right? Because into smidgey you're going to walk forward and then you're going to walk backward type thing. Or um, trying to involve any of that walking in a circle, or in and out, just following a leader, which will help lead them into what they're doing later on.
Let's say a dance has handholds. Maybe they experiment with a lot of handholds, and then you zero in on the handhold you want, and then you include it in the dance as an example.
Yeah, or a do-si-do. Practice it with a partner first, and like maybe find a new partner, like make it a game, and then you're going. It does that make sense?
Yeah. I was just worried about like changing it too much to where it's more on the appropriation side of things. If we're being creative, I was just, I'm just overly thinking it probably.
Actually, I had this exact same question, Sarah. And I apologize. I don't know why my video is not showing. I am here, but I don't. I've mashed every single button there is to mash, and there is like So I guess you guys can't see me.
No,
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm here, and I've heard all the I've heard what everybody's saying, but I literally just don't know what else to do because I can't find anywhere where I can undo my video. So I'm here speaking to you from the, you know, nether whatever. Okay. I have the same question, Sarah. I'm so glad you asked this because when I was looking through the rubric, I couldn't figure out. I was like, oh, creativity and folk dancing. Ugh. So my only thoughts were to like take something at the beginning, take an element from the dance and like somehow do something creative with it, but then be like, oh, hey, that cool thing that you did, we're actually going to do it in the dance. And that, I mean, something like to that nature. My other thought was, and Sarah, I'm so glad you brought this up, was like to take and I just think of something like Sasha. When you do Sasha, you've got like the set right, 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 left, 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 both, clap, clap, clap. I thought about like, could you take a dance that's more of like a mixer and let them create like their own hand clapping game to it, therefore covering kind of that creative aspect, but not changing the nature of the dance itself.
yes,
I am, I think, a little lost, which I guess I shouldn't be because I'm the chair of this committee. But I am a little lost as to where in the rubric you are both talking about.
I'm gonna give you an overview. I'm looking for the rubric myself. I'm trying.
I'm in it right now. There's two places.
Uh-huh.
So it says use of offshore work process, imitation, exploration, improvisation, and literacy is clear, which I'm not really sure what literacy means, but
Which one are you
and then
looking at
further
the
down,
are you looking at
Movement.
the guidelines or the apprentice rubric?
the rubric.
Okay. And then you're on
I'm on teaching folk slash elemental dance, working copy of movement apprenticeship something.
oh, I see. Okay, teaching folk slash elemental dance. And you are looking at
Instructional process, use of offshore work process, imitation, exploration, improvisation, and literacy is clear.
hmm
And then
yeah.
further down, it says um, The instructional process, a logical entry point, opportunities for creativity using given dance material.
Hmm. And then a conclusion with an authentic representation. Hmm.
So yeah,
What?
it's kind of in there twice, but
Hmm.
maybe different.
Do you see it, Judy? I can put it in the chat, I think.
Wrong page. I haven't gotten to the rubric yet. Let me figure that out here. It should be on the same thing. I'm
There
looking.
you go. It's a
You want
little
me to
hard to
copy
find.
the link?
I put it in the chat.
Okay.
Well, that's what I went to, and I still didn't find it. That's why I'm saying I'm terrible.
Oh no, I just put it in the chat just now.
All right.
Okay. Because I do like the first one you said, like the Orff Schiller process as an imitation, um, and rote teaching and,
Oh,
you
I see.
know, and your process of maybe starting from the harder steps, which doesn't necessarily have to be the first steps, like things like that,
Right,
that you
right.
are noticing what's going to be difficult and what's not.
And then what does it mean, literacy? Literacy? I
So,
don't know.
okay, okay, these are kind of my way of looking at it. So, the first I want to say is, as I said before, ORF, the big picture of ORF is that we believe that every child has creativity in them. So we want to share we want to share how we allow for creativity in the classroom in movement. Okay. Therefore, creativity should be within the way that you teach a folk dance. And even though direct teaching is a good thing, and we're not saying it's wrong, don't stop there. So as a TE, you need to be able to show that not only can you do direct teaching of a folk dance, but you can also be creative with it and allow kids to have creativity. I know you understand that. I'm just restating that on purpose to say this is the reason for the rubric being the way that it is. Okay. So the question was about how much creativity and what is literacy? Literacy has to do, I think, so in music, literacy means reading
Hmm.
um, music. In movement and dance, I think it has a lot to do with what are the movements that go with this? How do the movements fit in? How do everyday common movements fit into natural folk dances that are cultural around the world? So that's literacy. So how well do you demonstrate that cultural way of moving to show this or that? I mean, you don't have to be from that culture, but you need to have, if it's at a Renaissance dance, are you pulling up? If it's a folk dance, if it's an African dance, you're going to be down into the ground. So you
Hmm.
have that flavor, in my opinion.
And that's literacy?
To me, that's something about literacy. It does. Please don't quote me
No,
because
you're
Well,
okay. I'm just,
because when I think of it too, I'm thinking also along the lines of you're calling it a do-si-do, and it's actually an elbow swing. Like that would not be literate. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
okay.
So like I'm thinking if you're using correct terms, but also your kids are responding to the terms that we feel are age appropriate. Like you're not going to say do-si-do to a kindergartner, but if you say the word do-si-do to a fourth grader, do they already know what that is?
Okay,
Or
okay.
do they not? So like your kids are literate with their movement vocabulary. Like if you're
Okay.
doing levels,
Yeah.
let's say, okay, well for this part, this section, for example, if you're doing a dance from Israel, and I put a bunch of pictures of different things in Israel, like architecture and animals and like markets and stuff. I'm like, I want you to find some shapes in those pictures, and the B section, you're going to find a shape and make that shape. So if I walk around, I feel like I'm in that space visiting Israel, right? And you can change your shape, whatever, but still culturally relevant to where the dance is coming from. And so that's like giving them the creativity part while also keeping it within the culture of the dance. And then I think along with the creativity part, I feel like for me, um, a lot of it comes from like watching the kids do the dance moves that I have kind of told them, like, oh, I like how you're walking in a circle. Let's all try that, and like, let's
Mm-hmm.
try it on. I wonder what that move feels like. Let's try it on. We could also add to the creativity portion. If they're skipping in a really cool way, well, let's show everybody else how you were skipping and how can you skip and how can you make your skip different than everybody else's, things like that.
Lindsay, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you, Judy.
Yeah,
So,
I think I had the word literacy. I was thinking they were physically reading. And I'm like, how are we physically
yeah.
reading while we're
Mm-mm.
dancing? Other than like writing a word on the board, but why would we do that? Okay.
Right.
Thank you. That was very
Yeah.
helpful.
And I think Lindsay saying vocabulary, using movement vocabulary after having experienced it is what they mean. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, just, and that you're using the correct ones, like a do-si-do is going to be passing right shoulder and a seesaw is going to be passing the left shoulder. So our kids actually doing a do-si-do, or are they doing it correctly? Just things like that, and then, yeah, like the creativity, it's a lot for me, a lot of it is just a response to what I see. Um, to add. So I feel like I'm not taking away from what we're actually doing, but also embracing the way my kids feel it in their bodies.
I just have to make this little comment. There was a mentor teacher who's now passed in our area, Peg Van Heron, who said do-si-do and do-si-do, not seesaw, but the same idea, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Is my video back on? I think
Yes,
I.
we can see you.
Hey, okay, good. Okay. Um, Also, can we, I think, Lindsay, you had suggested at one time doing the creative movement video with kids and then the folk dancing with adults. Is
I
that
For me, that was easier. It's not what the end all be all is. For me, little kids and where kids are bigger risk takers with creative movement. So for me, that was what was good for me. And adults are quicker in folk dance, but that was just, you don't have to do it that way. That's just what worked for me.
okay? Because I was thinking like I'm going to start videoing. I was not prepared before the break to do my videos, but I'm going to start videoing when we actually go back to work this week. But I
Mhm.
was already starting to think, I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to have to start like calling in some favors to some friends to come out, and like I was even going to be like asking my faculty, my school, be like, if anybody wants to come folk dance in the media center, please come join me.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was like I was wondering if you could still do it with your kids too. So
Mhm.
okay.
Yes, it's just one of your videos has to be adults and one of your videos has to be kids.
Oh, it does. Okay, so we do have.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, one of them, it just, you get to decide which one, if it's creative or folk dancing, but one does have to be with adults and one has to be with kids. Yeah.
okay, I thought that was the case, but then okay,
Hmm.
got it. Okay, so got it. Yeah, folk dancing does seem to be maybe a little bit easier with the older kid with old adults, so
Yeah.
they're not quite as
And
are
for me, leading up to it, I also contacted a local college because the college kids are adults. So that's where I was like, hey, can I teach your music ed class for a couple weeks? Get some videos. So just another idea to throw out there.
yeah,
They
for
love free help. So especially like a CNAFME chapter, or, if you have a local college that has, SAI or Find Me Alpha or something,
mhm.
so.
Yep, love it. Um, and then I know you guys already discussed this. I'm so sorry. I was like playing around with my phone for like the first 10 minutes of the conversation. But just to recap real quick, because you guys had talked about editing the video and the length of the lesson. Did I understand you clearly that because I have a 50-minute class period, and obviously I wouldn't do creative movement for all 50 minutes. But the lesson plan I know has to be 20 minutes, hence the video would probably end up being 20 minutes. But did you guys discuss like
It's
editing?
So in the rubric, it says that they may be selected and edited to provide 5 to 6 minutes of a lesson beginning, followed by a 6 to 8 minute middle, followed by a 5 to 6 minute culmination. I I think what's most important about the written lesson plan is not necessarily that it's all done in one class, but that you are conceptually aware with how long each of the things will take. So lesson plan, warm up 5 minutes, teaching this skill 7 minutes, teaching, and like making sure that you are conceptually aware of how long it would take to teach kids and then also how long it would take to teach adults so that as the TEEP committee sees it, like, oh, okay, well, they understand, like, oh, they know it's going to take this long for kids. So when they're talking to adults about how to teach it with kids, then they can translate it, be like, oh, I would do this in 3 lessons, whereas I'm teaching it to you right now in 10 minutes because you're adults type thing.
Okay, so my understanding then is the lesson plan, it's the written lesson plan might cover more than a designated 20 minutes. So I'm not trying to squeeze in 20, the video is almost like a 20-minute excerpt,
Hmm.
a longer lesson.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, got it. Because I was trying to, in my mind, I was thinking, because I've been working on my lesson plans over the break, and I'm going, oh my gosh, how am I gonna like teach this warm up and do the activity and create
Hmm.
a product in 20 minutes? I was like, that's okay. So just
Yeah,
so
the lesson plan should be like the broader thing and like what you're trying to get to the kids. And then your teaching video is your excerpts where you're teaching, not necessarily where they're watching the kids. And then your reflection could be something like, oh, during that folk dance, I saw one kid that was doing an extra something, something. Next time, I'm going to be more cognizant of taking that and showing the kids and like, we all can try it on. Or, oh, I wish I skipped a step. And next time I teach this, I'm going to make sure that I say, or I say this in between, or I should have repeated myself this time and this time because obviously didn't quite understand it in my teacher brain. I was worried about the video and not so much about, sometimes we get into our own heads. And so the reflection is really almost more important than the video because it's like, oh, they see that they're, first of all, we're all lifelong learners. And second, none of us are perfect. And secondly, they can firsthand see things they would change the next time.
Yeah, and Lindsay, I'm so glad you mentioned that because having been on the panel before, most people think the reflection is just a little thing at the end. And really, I think that helps explain what you actually do know and don't know and what was happening and so forth. I agree with that. I also want to say that having been on the panel, I have seen some of the people who have applied who've had an excellent lesson on video. I mean, you could just see what's going on. And their lesson plan was an outline with very little. And I've seen people who have had an excellent lesson plan. Oh my God, written out. And their teaching was not that great. So I would go for teaching and doing a lesson plan a little bit after, even though you have it in your head, and like editing the lesson plan before you turn it in to reflect what the video actually is doing, and then also all of your thoughts that Lindsay just said. Does that make
And
sense?
also like choose videos where the kids are enjoying themselves. Because I have watched a couple where the kids are like robots, and I'm like, "Ugh." I wasn't on the committee, but I was trying to help some people, and I was like, if the kids are just miserable because you keep videoing the, try not
Mhm.
to choose that one. So I
Gotcha.
know they're watching you teaching, but also at some point, it'd be nice if the kids were having a good time.
Right. Look like they're actually enjoying it.
It's not all about the kids being perfect on the
It
scene.
isn't, yeah. It's just that they're
I,
having
I have
fun.
a creative movement question. I'm curious, does the entire activity need to be student like created, or can there be some structure? Um, I uh it, I just I'm having my students do the creative movement part. I think I might, I don't know, I might have the adults do it. I have to decide that yeah, I have to make that decision. But um with that creative video, can there be a moment of creative or exploratory stuff, and then more structured. Is that okay?
Personally, I think it depends on what your lesson is about and what your goal is.
Okay.
Yes, we want to see some creativity, but it could be a small amount depending on your class and where you are in the lesson. I think of creativity in three ways. One is a window of opportunity, when you give the kids a chance to have a voice, but it's not the whole thing.
Right.
So they don't, so it's more just an opportunity. Yes, you're great, you got something else. And then there's kind of like exploration, where they've got an idea of what they're supposed to explore, and you give them permission to explore. That's still creativity. It's not going anywhere, but it is finding out what you can and cannot do. And then improvisation to me is bringing a bunch of things that they already know together, and now we are creating. So I see that across music and through dance. So that creative part could be whatever that is on the spectrum. If you got beginners or young kids, you're going to give them a window of opportunity. You're not going to give them a lot of freedom until they have some structure that you've already given them. And if they have that structure, maybe you're teaching the structure of what you want to do in the beginning of the lesson, and then we see what they're doing. So yes, there's teacher control, but there's not teacher totally directive.
Yeah, I think like I can
Mhm.
only give an example of the one I turned in, but mine was based off of kind of like a book. And so it had the structure in the beginning and a jumping off point, and then eventually led into them kind of telling stories with their through movement, and then gave them unpitched percussion options because that was part of the rubric is like, and they need to make sure that one, they know what the timbres are and things like that, but then they were able to accompany or use the instruments as like a prop, as more than just a drum. It could be a hat or it could be a whatever, whatever. And so the structure for mine was mostly in the beginning and then a bouncing off point for them. So like I gave them imagery that they could use or they could create their own, and then kind of went from there. Um, so that's what mine looked like. And it was the full time allotted because it took a long time, with kids. Um, so yeah, and like Judy said, we're just looking for well, I say we, I'm not on the committee, but they're looking for a teacher's reactivity to what they're seeing. Not so much like what the kids are doing, but how is the teacher pulling more out of them? Um, does that answer your question at all?
Yes, thank you. I have to
Yeah.
go put a baby down. So thank you
Oh,
guys so
okay.
much.
Yes, you're welcome. It was good to
Welcome
see
back
you.
to everybody going back tomorrow. I'm
Woohoo,
like,
yes.
oh my God. All right, thank you guys.
Bye.
Can I ask one more thing about the folk dance? Because I'm actually teaching it on Tuesday, so I'm like, I haven't done it yet. But so I'm trying to debate between doing like one dance as my thing or breaking it up with multiple dances. But then with multiple dances, I wouldn't be able to do all of the things in each dance because there wouldn't be time. But if I do one dance, I can do, I don't know, I'm kind of all over the place thinking about how to do that.
Judy, Judy, you're on mute, but yes, she says one. Um, yeah, Judy, you can
So
expand.
you're saying one? One
One
is better?
in 20 minutes, one.
Okay, good. Rather than, I was just thinking if I could break up the video, then I could show multiple dances. No. Okay. Because I
Well,
have one really good idea in my head. And so, but I'm going to record, I guess, for the full time to see what happens. But I
Mhm.
have like an hour, but I have one really good idea. I have lots of good ideas, but anyway.
Yeah. Is it with adults? Is that what you're saying? Or was it
Yeah.
kiddos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have a professional development day on Tuesday. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Um,
Okay. So
and then, oh, sorry, Sarah.
oh no, I was just jumping in and clarifying. So one dance is fine because I was wondering the same thing. I was like, oh, should I have 2 or 3 dances prepared? And should the video excerpts be like here's 5 minutes of this dance, here's 5 minutes, but you guys would rather, it would rather be the entire structure of the dance sequence from beginning to end.
Yeah, think about the panel. They would be totally confused.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well,
So
because Lindsay, I think you did multiple dances as
I
how we all
did.
got that idea.
I didn't cut it though. Like it was with adults and it was some like simple fun dancing. And I did that, but I also sat down and did teacher talk in the middle of it. And we talked about that's part of the rubric too, is like I sat down and I was like, what grades do you think this would work for your kids? Because I can't tell you what grades it's gonna work because I don't know your kids, and so it's like you need to spend the time kind of breaking things down, and explaining
I'm not
too.
sure if that's part of the rubric anymore.
I don't
Oh,
think,
okay.
yeah,
Okay. It was
that,
part of it then. It's
It's
like,
talking about like the historical context, but it doesn't say anything more about
okay,
really talking.
So
okay.
if you want to include that, and this is why I'm doing this in the reflection,
Hmm.
would be wonderful.
In the reflection. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Can I ask, speaking about the historical context, so the
I want to go
dance, the
back on,
main,
but Sarah, I want to
oh,
go back on that real quick. I'm sorry.
yep.
I'm only saying that because I did see someone's video where they did one folk dance the entire video, and you could tell that they were elongating it to fit the entire 15 to 20 minutes, and we were bored
Oh,
to tears.
oh, no, 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 no.
So that's why I said like with adults, I did a couple of dances or a few dances, but they were simple. They weren't, it wasn't
Right,
like
right.
Renaissance or Granny's Knot or anything like that. So that's why I just like it gets boring and you could tell the kids are bored if you
Okay, right.
do it forever and ever. Okay, sorry, go ahead with your
No, I
next.
get it. Um, it's been challenging for me to find like the exact origins of a particular song or dance, because sometimes with these European dances, they kind of seem to be from lots of places, and depending on the song you use, anyways, and history is not my thing at all. So I don't know.
Can I answer that for you?
Yes,
So what it asks for is, if it hasn't changed, and I'm sorry that I don't have it right in front of me to read, but I think what it asks for is something about the history or, but it also asks for, why is this dance important to you? Some sort of
right.
relationship. So why are you choosing these dances? Is it
Hmm.
educational reason? Is it the curriculum? Is it you just like them? Is it a springboard for something else that you're going to do? All of those things could be also included in your lesson plan.
Mm.
Got it.
You
So
know,
it's okay if I say, well, it might have come from Scotland, but it also might have come from, if I don't know, as far as I've researched, I don't know
I would
exactly
just
where
say,
it came
yeah,
from.
upon my research, and then to be honest, I got the best advice ever from someone. Then I'm going to close this meeting. I
Yes,
got the
I
best
know. We're
advice from someone, one of my mentor teachers, and it was when an adult is asking you or challenging you on what you may have researched. The best response he ever gave me was, I have not experienced that information yet, but I'm going to look into it and I'll get back to you. But like,
okay.
I haven't experienced that information. I'm like, that is a great response. It's not you're right, I'm wrong. It's not I'm right, it's just let me go experience it somewhere and then I'll get back to you.
you
So
know,
So the
anyway.
best that we can do is the best that we can do. That's okay.
Mhm.
I don't have to be a history expert in the dance.
and
Okay.
you're open to learning more when you have that opportunity, when somebody points things out to you. That's the important thing.
Yes.
Yes.
You can grow.
Hmm.
Okay, got it.
Okay, I'm closing the room. Okay.
okay.
Aha, we are back.
I am really not a good timekeeper. I've decided it's not my forte. But we just had such great conversation, and I was like, oh gosh, we have to go. So anyway, how was the recorder? How is it going? Okay, great,
It was
wonderful,
it's actually pretty amazing, to be honest.
perfect. For y'all who don't know, Thomas and I co-teach at the same school, so
I didn't realize that.
yeah, same room
Ah,
all day, every day, two classes at a time. Yep.
sweet. Memphis.
Yep.
Yay.
Any final thoughts?
I'm still waiting for the basic. Oh, here they come. Here they come. All right.
We
Yes.
had a lot to say. Lauren lost power, and so she had to leave. She
Oh,
says,
gosh.
"Thank you very much." Like her computer died, not like her house.
Oh,
Oh, good.
okay.
Amy's face. I'm like, no, 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 no. Her computer died. So she said, "Thank you, goodbye."
It's
Okay. Well,
cold here. You wouldn't want to lose power.
yeah,
Mhm.
I bet not. All right. Well, any final anything from anybody? I hope you all realize, like, please reach out to us with questions too. We're here again. I ask that you maybe reach out to, if you have a movement question, reach out to both Judy and I, because that way you have two people who can respond within a timely manner. Same for Amy and Allison for recorder, and Angela and Lauren for basic. So if you send it to both of us, that might be helpful just to make sure we can reach back to anyone who has any questions.
We did discover in our group that Lindsay, the rubric timeline that you shared with us was the additional curricular area.
Oh,
So make sure you look at the website for the
yes.
most up to date, because there was some conflicting information. And so
Okay. I'm
I
putting
don't know
this
if it's in
website.
other areas, but it wasn't ours.
Okay, I'm putting this, where's the chat again? This is the website, direct website in the chat. And if you scroll down, it says go further by apprenticing on the bottom left, and you click on guidelines and rubrics and timeline. I'm going to take a picture of it and put it in the chat as well. That's where you click on the guidelines and rubrics. So just if you need to know where that is. Sorry about the other situation. All right, well, if there's
If
no
you're
other
going,
question,
oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
If you're going through the website to try to get to the rubrics, you have to be logged in order to see it, just so you know.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Amy.
So, Allison's not here. I just want to make sure I'm passing along her correct email before I do. Is it allison.krosky@gmail.com? Is that what you have, Lindsay?
I will go in and check it right now.
And I'll put it in the chat.
Yes, and all of our emails are also on any of the correspondence. Um,
I think that's what I have.
Whoa, it would help if I spelled her name right. Yes, Allison with two L's, Krosky with one S.
With a dot in between, correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, and they're also, like I said, all the emails are in the email. It's in
Perfect.
um, the CC. So like all of you are in the top, and then if you look in the CC, as well as the people we report to, so Natasha and Michelle and Karen. So all those people. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, I thank you for joining us tonight. We will not have another office hour before the 31st because it's coming up real fast. But again, we're here for you to reach out to us, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yay.
Yes, good luck, and we'll talk
Thank you so much.
soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.